YouTube, what it do, man? It's your boy Benji, and we back in between the ropes. Hold on, do it, huh? Do it, do it. Hey, look, I'm probably gonna reorganize this background, but don't worry about that. Pay attention to me. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that's showing love. We vibing this way. We ripping and rocking on Patreon. I'm upping the content. As y'all can see, I'm doing double uploads on YouTube. I'm putting stuff out on Patreon. I just want to continue to grow, and I appreciate the community that we're building over here. A lot of y'all love movies, wrestling, and TV like I do, and I am appreciative of the support that y'all are showing. Shout out to Noah and Thomas for the recent support on Patreon. We're just continuing to grow. And look, y'all, we almost at 1K. What? Hey, look, man, y'all going crazy, man. But look, I think as unreal as it is, how fast we're growing, we got to talk about WWE Unreal Season 2. It just dropped, and we've been watching it over there on the Patreon. So let's talk about the show. WWE Unreal Season 2, Episode 1 is basically the WWE saying, congrats on WrestleMania, now get back to work. The episode opens with Seth Rollins reminding us that his real name is Colby Daniel Lopez, and that he's gone through more names than a SoundCloud rapper before Dusty Rhodes finally blessed him with the name Seth Rollins. Seth lets us know that he's at the absolute top of the business, the penthouse suite of the WWE, but also reminds us that that spot is extremely temporary. Then, of course, Triple H pops up to remind us that the WWE is a 365-day grind with 0 off days because happiness is seasonal, but content is forever. This is also coming from a guy who is rarely backstage at the shows, but he finds a way to ensure that Seth and Becky are carrying the company again. Triple H has made it apparent that many of the decisions occur and come through him. Becky Lynch wanted to take time off before her contract expired, and Triple H gave her the okay. He was in the discussions with R-Truth. CM Punk came to him, etc., etc., etc. So when people say don't blame Triple H, you are out of your mind. After returning to training in 2025, WWE Creative reveals a plan. Remember that little hiatus that Becky took? She will now return at WrestleMania 41 as a surprise partner for Lyra Valkyria, a wrestler who became a wrestler because of Becky. Watching this live, I commented on the fact that WWE is one of the major promotions that ensures that characters embody racial stereotypes. Becky's entrance to the WWE NXT ring was originally her doing an Irish jig. I will say, being in the business keeps these folks on a high. Becky was backstage stretching because she believed the crowd was not going to pop for her. Gyal, you've only been gone for a few months. Roman Reigns does this every year and comes back to a good pop. But she may have a point, because this could potentially be indicative of how we view the women's division in contrast to the men's. Are we this fickle as fans? Did we turn that fast? We then cut to WrestleMania 41, where Becky's return gets a massive pop, including a fan crying in the crowd. Becky pins Liv, wins the titles with Lyra, and then immediately shifts into mentor mode, saying that Lyra is the future. And then it was super silly because these women lost the titles right after winning them. Literally the Monday after. And let's think about it. Lyra randomly teamed with one of the horsewomen that she was battling for an individual title shot. And the same day, they ran through the entire tag team division in a gauntlet match. And these two women were awarded a tag team championship bout. Then the day of WrestleMania, Lyra was tasked with finding another tag partner because Bayley had been injured and surprisingly attacked backstage. And instead of grabbing, let's say, I don't know, Chelsea Green or Zelina Vega or something like that, she grabbed another horsewoman as a tag partner. The creative team was surprised that the crowd cheered for Becky Lynch's heel turn, as if bringing one of the most popular superstars to battle an NXT rookie would lead the people to supporting the nobody. I remember at this time not really knowing much about Lyra because she had just got called up, and just won the Intercontinental Championship. Oh yeah, the belt that did not get defended at WrestleMania 41. There's even a scene in one of the later episodes where Becky tries to stop Triple H and the creative crew from stopping all of Bayley's hard earned momentum and removing her from WrestleMania 41. Triple H literally tells her, screw them, referring to the rest of the locker room and the fans that may not enjoy this creative decision. Yeah, just F Bayley. Also, if they were going to win them back in 2 days, why did Liv and Raquel even lose the titles in the first place? I think Becky and Lyra losing to then losing twice would have made a little bit more sense for a Becky heel turn. The episode then pivots to Pat McAfee, who goes from commentator to wrestler after Gunther bullies Michael Cole. Pat runs in order to help his friend, gets choked out, turns red like a tomato, and then commits to full method acting all the way back to Gorilla. Y'all know I hate the way this match actually happened. The build to it I was actually pretty cool with. I said there's only one way this should go down, right? Gunther beats the heck out of this guy. Because Gunther just cut a promo, was pissed about losing, and was certain that he was going to make a mockery and an example out of anybody that challenged him moving forwards. This is literally right after he got choked out to his own finisher. Pat McAfee built a ring in the ESPN Thunderdome and was grinding. But the craziest thing, Triple H was actually trying to have Pat McAfee beat Gunther. Yes, I could not believe my ears. Remember, Gunther just had a promo where he told us he was more focused than before. And even the writing staff was baffled. Like, shout out to this dude, Jonathan, that spoke up. He was one of the few people that made noise and just could not wrap his head around Gunther losing to a color commentator. Dude, the fact that he was even able to compete in this match was silly enough. Pat let us know many times in this segment that he is not a wrestler. He has limited experience, that he is not in shape, nor should he be able to compete with Gunther, and even called himself green. Well, and if y'all not hip on slang, that means he is a newbie, a rookie. He is not someone that you should rely on. But Triple H really wanted this dude to be presented as someone that we should get behind. He was begging Gunther to put Pat over and assuring Pat that Gunther was going to allow him opportunities to breathe. Gunther was going to take it easy on him. And he was so hyped because after the match, he got the pop that he was looking for. He was so hyped that the crowd popped for Pat. And you'll notice throughout this episode, Triple H just mentions, oh, listen to that pop. Oh, I couldn't hear the pop. Oh, we were trying to get the pop. That's all he cared. All he cares about is pop, 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 pop. Anyways, Gunther won that match, and I told y'all I just did not understand that because, I mean, it was a nearly 50-50 match. We all left the match respecting Pat McAfee because he almost beat Gunther when it should have been, well, look, we can salute you for stepping into the ring. Look, guys, there was a moment, and I can't remember which Royal Rumble it was. Maybe it was the same year as WrestleMania 40 or the year prior. I believe it was WrestleMania 40's Royal Rumble. Pat McAfee was listed as an entrant into the Royal Rumble. He stepped into the ring, and in front of him are Braun Breaker and Amos. He looks at them, says, deuces, jumps out of the ring. Says, I'm not dealing with that. So how does the guy go from that to fighting against the most dominant champion in the last few years? The ring general, the master of pain. Okay. All right. Episode 2 is all R-Truth. Man, he is the headliner of this episode. He's been in the company for years. Triple H jokes that Truth might have wrestled Abraham Lincoln. Rhea calls him the best human in the company. Cody calls him one of the most talented ever. And we are also reminded that some of Brock Lesnar's funniest moments only happen because Truth exists. WWE basically admits comedy characters like this are priceless. Rewind Truth's life story, training in Memphis, almost quitting, and then Road Dogg saving his career, and hearing about his musical journey. Truth's heart is in music, but dude, shout out to Road Dogg. he was really emotional talking about him because apparently Truth is impossible not to love. But I did not know that these dudes were super close. I understand that they like had the run-ins in the WWE, but these guys really are close. Like Road Dogg's moved to tears multiple moments in this episode. There's moments where he's literally in the creative room fighting for Truth, arguing with guys, cussing them out. This eventually led up to R-Truth versus John Cena, which is somehow funny and sad. Truth called it an honor to be a part of Cena's farewell. I mean, at the end of the day, this match was a fun one at Saturday night's main event, and then reality hit us. Truth supposedly got a call while taking his daughter to dance class and thought he was fired. The locker room was stunned. He tweeted, which led to everybody else tweeting. Fans began to revolt. And then Triple H got on the screen to discuss what really happened. Triple H explained that it was contract negotiation mess. Numbers didn't line up, so then communication broke down. What's really happened is WWE likely lowballed Truth, trying to push him away, hoping that Truth would come back to negotiate. That was literally what Triple H said that the tactic was in this negotiation. They were hoping that Truth would come back, but he didn't. Again, we don't know the workings of this stuff, but it seems like Truth's contract was up. No one was talking to him, so he assumed it was over. Does this sound familiar to y'all? Remember that Karrion Kross went on multiple podcasts essentially saying the same thing? He got a lowball offer, tried to ask for communication. They pushed back. He didn't hear from anybody, and then it just kind of fizzled out. The episode then pivoted to Naomi chilling at home with Jimmy Uso. She talked about her long WWE journey, the 2022 walkout with Sasha Banks, and how scary it was to stand up for herself and suddenly be unemployed. And I say that she talked about it, but she kind of just brushed over it. Some of the guys that were there during the walkout tried to make sense of it all, but they kind of got in and out of that segment. She made her return in 2024's Royal Rumble, and she had been Mrs. Nice Wrestler for her whole career, but it was time to shake things up. Fast forwarding to the Money in the Bank, their prep looked like the cross between a science experiment and a WWE action movie. But y'all remember, spoiler alert, Naomi climbed the ladder, grabbed the briefcase, and the crowd began to lose their minds. Dude, her character was one of the best of the year. Men or women, I thoroughly enjoyed Naomi's heel turn. Again, I can't even say this is necessarily something that was written well by the backstage crew. I think that Naomi just really embodied this person. I mean, she was the one making suggestions about redesigning the Money in the Bank briefcase. She was the one making suggestions about her costume. She was the one that really made this all work. But a lot more goes into the breakdown of these shows than we actually are privy to. I mean, we saw that in a later episode how to the T some of these segments in the matches or some of these bumps or spots, how nitty and gritty they are. And these guys toss and turn until literally the match, trying to figure out what the final move or spot or portion of the promo will be. And speaking of, they literally said the day of the Money in the Bank, they were able to finish up contract negotiations with R-Truth to where he showed up in a hoodie and attacked Cena. This was weeks after We Want Truth chants. Triple H said in the interview that whoever the crowd wants, they will get. R-Truth thought that he was no longer employed until Nick Khan himself called him and the two of them talked for an hour. It sounds like he had to fix the game's mess. After this moment, these two dudes, Triple H and R-Truth, hugged it out backstage in a really awkward segment, if you ask me, where Triple H literally tells this fool, maybe it's better that things went this way. And you can tell R-Truth was still kind of not rocking with the whole, joint, man. And then many of y'all may have remembered that the Monday after this, Truth came out as a serious character and cut his hair and only wanted to be known and regarded for what he could truly bring to the ring. Well, that didn't last long. He was used for a Cena and Punk segment right before disappearing into catering abyss. The dude showed up on TV for a quick mime moment with Cena after Cena turned back to a face, and then disappeared and returned as Santa Claus. And then started making ball jokes. You cannot tell me that these guys are creative. There are moments where they can build well for a pop or an Instagram reel. This was a layup. Let's think about some of the biggest moments that they had, bro. I mean, in December, they had the New Day's heel turn, which could have been booked amazing. No, didn't work, didn't happen. These guys were off and on TV. They didn't really have a storyline. They started feuding with the War Raiders before disappearing and giving up the titles. And then they just came back to doing the same things they were doing as good guys, but just a little bit more heelish. You had the John Cena heel turn, which could have been executed greatly and done a lot to lift up the WWE as a whole and offer up plenty of opportunities for the young guys to run across Cena, to confront Cena, or even some of the guys that were feuding in the name of nostalgia to give us some great moments. Nope, didn't get it. People are going to remember that one kid that had all the Cena gear more than they're going to remember a lot of these matches and moments. You had the Karrion Kross build. You had the R-Truth storyline. Everything was just right there on a silver platter. Waiting for y'all could, oh my gosh, a 3-year-old could have wrote this stuff better than these guys did. But they just decided to take everybody off TV when they got hot. I think what I learned from these first 2 episodes is that writing room is full of yes men. And we get plenty of scenes where Triple H just trumps all of them and gets the last word. Whew. But yeah, this thing was stressing me out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the first 2 episodes, and we're going to keep on talking.